The year is 1938, and we are inching closer to another world war. But along the way, maybe they'll give us some pretty damn good movies before we get to all that devastation, Will. 1938. We just had 37. We put it to bed. We did the Oscars show. We talked about all the goods and bads of that year. Will, we dive in. We go to
You've
Google
got
search.
to be
We say
kidding me.
best films of 1938. We type it in. We go to Letterboxd. We say give me the highest average rating first. We go through the list and we ask ourselves, what are the best movies of 1938? Will, what was the overall experience of looking for these movies this year? Did you find it to be a little bit easier than 1937 was? Because for me, I think there's a solid 10 that we could look at. So you tell me, Will, what was 38 Google searching experience like for you?
Yeah, so I've got my famed propriety ranking system that I kind of go through every time, and then I end up kind of throwing everything out the window because there's so many movies I want to watch from this year.
Yeah.
There's two movies that, I mean, when we get there, they weren't even like on my radar until the very end, and I was like, wait a second, these movies are from this year. Like, how do we skip these?
Yeah.
So
Say
this
them
year is going
now.
to
What,
be,
what are those two movies? What are you talking about? What are they?
well, they're both Katharine Hepburn movies,
Okay.
Holiday and Bringing Up Baby. So both of those movies, I like, they didn't get nominated for Oscar. I mean, Holiday I think got nominated for one. She didn't get nominated for either. But both of these movies are like 4.0s
Yep.
on Letterboxd. And I
Yep.
mean, of course, Bringing Up Baby, I think anybody who pays attention to movies knows a little bit about that movie, or has at least heard Bringing Up Baby, right? You've at least heard Bringing Up Baby, right? No?
I have no
Okay.
idea. It's slipped through the
Yeah.
gaps. I've never heard of it.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So, I mean,
I've
long
heard don't
story
put
short,
baby in a corner. I've heard don't shake baby. I've heard all those.
yeah. So yeah, I mean, there's at least, I think I've got 13 films on here that I at least thought we should have on the list, right? So it's gonna be a tough one this year.
It's gonna be a tough one, and I'm excited because we kind of talked about, sometimes you get so excited to get to 1939, or to get home and you got 10 miles to go, and you get pulled over and you're pissed because you're just getting too big of a hurry. Slow
Yeah.
down, enjoy where we're at. I'm very excited for the template or the movies that are on our template this year. So
Yeah.
that being said, you talked about Katharine Hepburn. First thing that stood out to me was this is a Cary Grant, Katharine Hepburn year. Hell, it looks like they're in every movie that was made this year. I mean, the first like 3 or 4 movies I was looking at, it said starring Katharine Hepburn and Cary Grant, starring Cary Grant, starring Katharine Hepburn. I'm like, holy crap.
Yeah.
So you can really tell that the studios are still the major player, and they're just shipping out their stars with
Right.
every movie they can possibly get them into and as fast as they possibly can. That part makes me step back a little bit and worry
Mm,
that we might be
sure.
getting, we're going to watch a lot of Saratogas in the year 1938. Maybe I'm wrong. Uh,
Yeah.
I do trust Letterboxd as much as I possibly can. Saratoga didn't have, if I remember correctly, it didn't have that strong of a rating.
Okay.
So
It was 3.2. I
3.2.
remember.
So
Yeah.
I do, I think us as a community as a whole, as a bunch of cinephiles, I think we know what we're talking about. At least the collective does. There are some exceptions, and we'll talk about that in a later
Sure.
episode. But Holiday, definitely heard of, Will. So these are movies that are going to be discussed, and I'm sure will be drafted at least one of them, if not both. Um,
Yeah.
what I found is that I didn't realize that we got another Spencer Tracy performance this year. Two
Hmm.
people in the history of the Academy Awards, Will, have ever gone back to back.
Yeah.
Spencer Tracy's that guy in a movie called Boys. I think it's called Boys Town. Yeah. So
Hmm.
he wins the best picture for or best actor for his performance in Captain's Courageous, and he wins it this year in Boys Town. And has that movie showed up on your radar?
Yes. Yep.
So these are movies, and that's not even a movie that's necessarily as high as rated as a lot of these other ones. So the question's going to be, do we follow Spencer Tracy on this route? Now, Will, Spencer Tracy, we actually did watch a movie with him earlier in our thing. Did you know this?
Fury, right?
Yes, I didn't
Yeah,
realize he was the guy in Fury.
yeah. And ironically, he gives a really good speech in that movie too. So I'm
Oh, you're
wondering
right,
if
he does.
that's kind of his thing, and what the Academy kind of is honing in on right now
Yeah.
as a body in the late 30s here is like performances that uh, an actor or an actress can carry scenes by themselves.
Yeah. I think ultimately the biggest challenge that I am going to have, especially I think with you, Will, is am I going to be able to get you to a place where we have a good balance of new directors?
Mm,
Because it feels like this year is very heavy in repeat directors. And rightfully so, because they're hired by the studios are
yep.
pumping them out and they want their guy to be doing these movies. So
Yeah.
because some of the names that are showing up on this list is Howard Hawks, Michael Curtis, Frank Capra,
Yep.
Alfred Hitchcock, Michael Curtis again, Anthony Asquith. These are guys that we've
Hmm.
already had. So just keep
Yeah.
that in mind. I always like to try to get us to a point if we can,
Well,
but it doesn't
yeah.
necessarily mean it will happen.
Yeah. Well, we'll get to new directors when these guys die.
Yeah. Okay. I like it. I like it. Um, 1938 in film, Will. Top grossing film of the year was Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. And you say, how is this possible? We watched it in
Yeah.
1937. Well, it released in December of 1937 on Christmas Day, but the
Hmm.
overall movie made most of its money in the year 1938, and it made a
Yeah.
hell of a lot of money, Will. It was almost $4 million in domestic money. The next closest movie is 2.8, and that is Spencer Tracy's Boys Town.
Mm.
Interesting enough, Boys
Yeah.
Town was. I'm not sure what I don't have its Letterboxd rating in front of me. Do you?
3.43.
Okay, so that's a little low for what
Yeah.
our standard should be, right? So
Yep.
just once again, it's an interesting thing. And this led me to what I want to ask you about is is the movies we're watching in 1938, 1937 during that time. Is it still to this day about who's just marketing better?
Mm.
Because think about some of the movies that maybe you got to the theater on this year. How many movies do you think you saw at the theater this year, Will?
8 to 10, somewhere in
Eight to
there.
10? Okay. Of those 8 to 10, how many at the end of the year in hindsight held up to be considered the best films of the year? All of them?
Um, well, kind of thinking on the fly here. I mean, Sinners, one battle after another, 28 days later, Weapons. So yeah, I mean,
Okay.
the only movie I can think of that was kind of like, was Jurassic Park, the new Jurassic
But
Park movie. So, yeah,
so let's take Jurassic Park then and talk about it then. Jurassic Park in 2025, it's the nostalgia. It's got that going for
hmm,
you because you're attached to a franchise and you know, it's also a franchise too. So it's got that going for you where you're like,
sure,
okay, well, I want to just see what the next, you know, installment of this is, even though maybe it's not where it once was, right? A lot of
sure.
people do that with like Fast and the Furious and things of that nature. So, um, what do you think about this idea though of marketing in 1938? Where do you think we're at? How can movies like Boys Town, who ultimately the critics today find it at maybe just an average movie, where
Yeah.
$2.8 million worth of people went and saw this film? Is it a marketing thing? Is it just off the back end of Spencer Tracy winning the Academy Award? Like, what is the thing that's pushing some of these middle movies to be some of the higher grossers?
Um, well, I think one part of this question is really easy to answer
Okay.
in that movies that people on Letterboxd or critics now as they think about movies are always bringing their own baggage to the film. They're bringing the baggage of our time to a film. So
Yep.
it's really hard to take if a movie doesn't hit progressive markers sometimes, like, it's a diverse cast or, it's got progressive themes. Sometimes I think that you take in and you forget to place yourself back in that time and think of that movie. It doesn't, it doesn't mean that you have to think a movie's good just because it was good then and rated well then. You have to love it now. But I do think that we sometimes over criticize film and art from a time period that, you know, um, I
Yeah,
just think it's something we bring to the table that we sometimes take for granted. So,
yeah, we talked about that on this show. You
yeah.
know,
Hmm.
you can't watch it from the eyes and ears of now because that's being unfair to the art form at the time.
Yeah.
Baggage. Oh, that's such a good word. I do this a lot with actors and actresses, right?
Okay.
If I first watched you in something and I did not like you, and I not just like didn't think you were like, great in the film or whatever, but like something about you bothered me. You know what I mean? We just have
Yeah.
that with people sometimes, right?
Hmm.
Um, the girl's slipping my name from 10 Things I Hate About You. What is her name? The main
Julia
girl.
Stiles.
Julia Stiles. Never seen her in anything I've ever liked. Like that movie, love that movie. Don't love her as an actress. Now, with that being
Save the
said,
Last Dance.
I was just getting ready to say people love her in Save the Last Dance. Not me. But so maybe she's a bad one because I think she's been consistently bad in everything she's done. With that being said, do you have that with any actors? Because I do sometimes take something that a performance of theirs from one thing, and I'm like, oh boy, how's this going to be? But I do think I'm a good judge when they, like a Gary Cooper. You know what I mean? I do think
Hmm.
I continue to have an open mind. If they just reaffirm that, then that's on them. But do you
Yeah.
have this with when it comes to actors?
Oh, yeah, and you're gonna love this answer because I know
Oh
you
boy.
love this guy. Until this year, really, it'd been several years since I'd cared for anything Sean Penn had done.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, okay.
I
Now,
mean,
time out, real quick.
yeah,
Let's expound on that.
yeah.
Meaning, you haven't liked the movies he's made, or you just haven't liked him in the movies.
I haven't liked him in the movie.
Oh
Tree
wow.
of
Okay.
Life in the last 20 since Mystic River, the only performance I'd liked of his was Tree of Life.
Okay.
That's the only time I was like, okay, I can get on board with this performance. Everything else has bugged me or irked me in various ways.
Okay. No, that's fair.
So,
I will say I feel like since Tree of Life, he's sort of went to this weird, we don't have DVDs anymore, but like we have straight to DVD movies still being made, like
yep,
straight to streaming movies,
yep.
and he's kind of oddly found himself there. You know what I mean?
Mm. Mm-hmm.
Another, like, he made a movie with Dakota Johnson that I thought I was gonna like. He's a taxi driver. He ends up being her dad. Blah blah blah. Very heavy handed.
Yeah,
There's moments to it that's fun, but like I don't think he's bad. I enjoy him. The movie sucks. The movie
yeah.
sucks, and I like Dakota Johnson, but the movie sucks, and she's not great in it either. So, but man, you don't. He bugs you a little bit, huh?
Oh yeah. He's always bugged me just a little bit.
Oh, is that a have anything to do with his politics?
No, not necessarily. I mean, there's probably a little bit of the personal that gets into that where it's like, I don't know. He seems he just seems like the guy that it's the smartest in the room, right?
Yeah,
And he's got to make sure everyone knows it,
yeah.
right? I'm okay. I'm okay if you're the smartest person in the room, but leave me the fuck alone with it, right? Like that's
No,
fine. No.
no.
Yeah.
He is the
That's
smartest
Sean
guy
Penn.
in the room. No, I know what you mean. He
Yeah.
he he is very name droppy about like, oh, I've spent time in caves with so and so, and I went to
Yeah.
Mexico and met with the drug cartel. He's very name droppy in that way. I always
Yeah.
try to judge a person on their intent, like he's doing it, you know what I mean? And like
Hmm.
he wants a deeper understanding, and he has a huge empathy for people, right? So like I love that
Yeah.
portion to him. But I can get it. It can be a little buggy. I have to, sometimes remove myself and say, okay,
Yeah.
their intent is good here. But yeah, you and I miss on certain things. Steph Curry
Yeah.
bothers you too, and I love that guy. So, most humble player in the history of NBA. Uh, um, okay, Will. I love that we talked about that. I love that we mentioned that a little bit. Let's talk about these movies, man. Or actually,
All
you know
right.
what? Before we do that, let me get to 1938 as a whole real quick. I just barely touched on it. So a couple things to note. Judy Garland officially in January gets casted as the role of Dorothy Gale in the upcoming Wizard of Oz movie. Originally supposed to be directed by a gentleman. Let me see if I can find his name here. Richard Thorpe is the original director on this. He initially is who they hire. They end up going with Victor Fleming afterwards, and it changes the course of his career. So, a couple other things I wanted you to know that mainly with that movie is, have you ever heard this one? I never knew this. So, Buddy Epson, the guy that originally plays the Tin Man, he suffers from a near fatal allergic reaction to the aluminum dust that they put on him while he's becoming the Tin Man, and he ends up getting replaced by who we know now as Jack Haley. Did you know that?
I didn't.
So imagine being casted in something that 100 years is going to go by. You could make the argument that The Wizard of Oz is the most American film ever made. You could make that argument, right?
Yeah.
And you could be a part of that, but your skin wouldn't allow you. Your nervous system would not allow you to. Imagine how shitty that must. It's like the guy that sold, Apple too soon. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. That quite the legacy.
Yeah, that's gotta suck. A couple things to note. This year, the movie You Can't Take It With You, Frank Capra film, wins Best Picture. Best Director goes to the Frank Capra for that same film. We talked about Spencer Tracy. Boys Town Best Actress goes to Bette Davis for Jezebel. Best Supporting Actor, Walter Brennan. Here's this name, Walter Brennan from Kentucky. And then finally, Best Supporting Actress goes to Faye Bainter from the movie Jezebel. Will, a couple things to note here. Just some births and some deaths, because I always like to do that in the given year. Frank Langella, do you know who this is?
Yes. Yep.
He played Richard Nixon in the movie Frost Nixon. Really enjoyed him there. And I've seen him in a couple other things. In his later career. I didn't see him in his earlier, so we'll have to see there. But he was born this year. Alan Ford born this year. A couple names like that. Roy Thynes, and then basically the only other thing that is. Good night, Grandma. The only thing to note here is John Voight, December 29th, was the last American actor born this year. And then Warner Oland died. The only reason I bring Warner Oland, do you remember this? We've watched this guy in two different movies, Will. The Jazz Singer and Shanghai Express. Do you remember this gentleman?
I can't place it.
I think he played the father in the Jazz Singer.
Yep.
I would need fact checked on that, but either way, he's the only actor that I've seen so far on our journey that has passed outside of the ones that we've mentioned on the podcast already.
Sure.
So, all right,
Gotcha.
Will, State of America. We are a couple years out from Pearl Harbor. They're a year away from the war officially starting. Things to note, studio systems, they kind of dominate where we're at. But one thing I thought, the last thing as far as Hollywood's concerned, is this is one of the first labor strikes, union strikes that's happening. And I think we need to keep our eye on this, because I'd be curious to see how that impacts studios and when artists, directors, and studios start kind of parting their ways because of things like these union strikes.
Right. Yeah, no, definitely. I'm sure be interesting to see if we have a dip or two along the way. We kind of got our own little dip last year, really, because there was a handful of movies that did really well, but then everything else kind of got pushed back. So keep an eye on that.
Keep an eye on that. And the last thing I'll say is Technicolor is considered a novelty. Like, it's not considered a serious player that's going to take away black and white films, Will. So, and if you look, black and white films are here for the next 20 years, Will. We're going to be watching them up until mid-60s before we start getting a color change. So anybody that's in a hurry for black and white films to go away, you shouldn't be. So let's talk movies. Will, you said 13 movies of yours, right? You have 13 movies that are you could possibly watch and be happy. I have 10. So we need to dive in.
All right.
Do you have a movie that you would like to nominate first on our official 1938 draft selection show?
Yeah. Let's just get The Adventures of Robin Hood out there.
I knew you were gonna. This guy loves some Errol Flynn, man.
I just have a good feeling about this one, man. It's it's got a decent rating on more than decent. It's almost a 4, 3.86. It's Michael Curtis again. I think he did really well with Captain Blood, which of course had Errol Flynn and Olivia de Havilland, who are both starring again in this. It got 4 nominations at the Academy Awards, and it won 3. So the kind of behind the the down the ballot stuff like music and editing. So when you kind of add all that up together, I just feel like this. I don't feel like this could be a miss. So
distributed by Warner Brothers, Adventures of Robin Hood. It was the 8th highest grossing film of the year. I think Michael Curtis just knows how to make a movie that does well at the box office because he's got a flair for big adventure stories. So I don't think we're going to go wrong as far as any execution of action, right? He feels like a modern day Michael Bay, right? They feel very similar. Where Michael Bay might fall short, where Michael Curtis might fall short a little bit in my eyes, is Captain Blood was fine. Errol Flynn was fine. Olivia de Havilland was fine. Didn't feel like there was a lot of like meat to their characters, a lot of substance. But like, did I believe he was, a pirate or, whatever they are? Yes, I bought into that. Yeah. So what is Robin Hood? Is he just a vigilante? What is he?
Really?
I'm not a huge Robin Hood guy. Like I know who he is. Like what is he though? Is he just like what's the name? Give me the name.
Well, he gets outcast, right?
Outcast. He's an outcast.
Yeah. He gets outcast, and then he ends up vigilante is good. I think that's another good word for it.
I thought it was, but you looked at me like, really?
Well, I just thought. Honestly, I thought it was strange you were asking me to describe Robin Hood. I just thought it was ubiquitous.
No, I wanted a better name to vigilante than what he was. I thought there was a very direct name to what he was.
Yeah, no, vigilante I think works well. The original vigilante.
Sure, I like that. The OG.
He's committing crimes, but for the greater good. There's our tagline.
I like it. All right, Adventures of Robin Hood is on the board. Will nominated it. I'm going to give my first one. And there's no surprise here. I'm going with Frank Capra's You Can't Take It With You. It's an easy pick. It's Frank Capra, Will. I shouldn't have to say too much more other than that. But I think it's, for what we're doing, I think it's important that we do. But it's also a Frank Capra film that finally wins him Best Picture.
Yeah. This one's green. We're watching this.
We're watching this one. Okay.
If you're going to let me make a rule or two, then yeah, we're watching this one.
Well, you can make as many rules as you want, my friend. I just wanted to look up something real quick, if I can. You Can't Take It. What is is it 4.0 Letterboxd?
It's 3.85.
3.85. Okay. So I am a little curious about that when it comes to like the overall Frank Capra films. Is this going to be one that we look back on and say that this felt like a lifetime achievement award type thing where maybe they've missed him and they give it for this? I don't know that it will be. I'm just curious because of that rating. But the tagline reads, "You'll love them all for giving you the swellest time you've ever had." And by looking at the pictures on Letterboxd, Will, it feels kind of like a Lady for a Day, right? It's got like a big cast, and he does big human movies with big cast. He does a really good job with that. So I'm on board to draft it as well. So the first movie will be You can't take it with you. Will, give me your second nomination.
All right. Well, this is where things get a little tricky because I have all of these movies that I can make a justification for
Okay.
because I see all these different possibilities for double features,
Yeah.
and it's hard for me when I see a good double feature. I've realized that it can compel me to watch the movies.
Okay.
Um, but I think where I'm gonna go is
Well, then
a
time
movie
out.
called.
Let's do this. Nominate both your double features together, but list what you would rather watch over the other one, and then we'll just kind of see where we go.
Okay. So in that case, what I would like to nominate as a double feature is going to be Boys Town and a movie called Angels with Dirty Faces. Did you come across both of these?
100%. It was my next film.
Yeah.
Angels with Dirty
O-
Faces would have been my
Okay.
next film.
So hey, you're our boy Michael Curtis.
I know.
So he's got a couple double feature potentials here, but I think Angels with Dirty Faces and Boys Town would be a good double feature because there's both of the main characters are priests. And I just thought that would be an interesting kind of juxtaposition, right, between these two movies. The one's having a crisis of faith, and it sounds like in Angels with Dirty Faces, he's kind of having a crisis of friendship, like someone that he knew growing up is gone the wrong way. So I just, I saw that, it just kind of it jumped out that these could be a good double feature. So.
Um, yeah, you could go either way with that, right? Michael Curtis films, Boys Town.
Mhm.
I agree. I think that's probably the route. If we were to draft them both, that's where I would go. I, I want to do, like, you got so excited, and I appreciate that we drafted You Can't Take It With You, and I think it's a no-brainer. I just
Yeah.
wanted to make sure we're not filling up the board so quickly because these are both on my list. Boys Town, admittedly so, I put down a little bit further just because I wanted to kind of talk out the others with you to see if we get there. But
Yeah.
they're both on my list. With that being said, Angels with Dirty Faces, a Michael Curtis film, and it has James Cagney. We haven't seen him since, I believe, Public Enemy.
Right.
And this is somebody who's won a or Oscar award for Best Actor. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm excited to see him, and we
Uh,
get to see the development of Humphrey Bogart. We've seen him in The
right.
Petrified Forest, but maybe he gets a little bit more of a role in this film. He is billed
Right.
as the third actor here, so behind Pat O'Brien. So, who I do think we've had Pat O'Brien too. I'm not 100% sure, but
Yeah.
oh, in the front page. Well, in the front page.
Yes.
So
That's it.
again, let's link them together.
Mm-hmm.
Let's hold off on drafting them just yet,
Sure.
but I think they're ultimately going to be there. At least I know for sure Angels with Dirty Faces are, if not both. So,
All right.
all right. So, will he put up his? All right. I was going to go Angels with Dirty Faces. I think the next place I'm going to go, Will, is Howard Hawks is Bringing Up Baby. I didn't know much about this.
Hmm.
Where did you come across this film?
Honestly, it's one of those titles that it just when I heard it, when I saw it, I was like, "Oh, this movie." Like it's just something I don't know if it like has been mentioned in other movies or if I've just heard it along the way as being like a key film in the Cary Grant, Katharine Hepburn, saga or the myths and legends of the golden age of Hollywood or something. But the name itself just kind of is with me somehow. So
No, I get it. And I did want to, because when you were going to talk about The Holiday,
mhm.
is that the movie you're thinking, or are you possibly thinking of Roman Holiday?
Uh, no, I'm just saying that bringing up baby is something. It's the name itself. I don't
Is
even
somehow
really.
attached? Okay. Well,
Yeah,
I just,
yeah.
because you had mentioned both those movies that they had, that they were kind of no
Mm,
brainers to you. I'd never heard of either one of those films. I've heard of Roman
I see.
Holiday, which I believe is a Gregory Peck film. Um, I'd never heard of The Holiday. So like when you said it, I was a little interested in where you came across these things.
I
So
see. Okay.
anyways, Bringing Up Baby. This is the number one highest rated movie on Letterboxd for this year. It's directed by Howard Hawks. How do I know to Howard Hawks? Well, we've already watched him in, what movie did Howard Hawks do for us? He did Scarface. We've seen him in Scarface in 1930. Would that have been 4 for you, Will, or 31?
I thought it was 30. I thought it was
32.
earlier than that.
It was 32.
Yeah.
You're right. It was earlier. So Howard Hawks did that. He also did my grandfather and I's favorite Western of all time, El Dorado. So that movie comes along in 1960s. I think it's 68. But yeah, this movie, and so begins the hilarious adventure of Professor David Huxley and Miss Susan Vance, a flutter-brained vixen with love in her heart. This is supposed to be Katharine Hepburn and Cary Grant's best movie of that year, and they do a couple together. So I just feel like maybe we get a chance to see what Saratoga failed to do. They do well this year. Hopefully, it kind of course corrects itself, and they put together a great movie. We kind of get back to the it happened one night kind of feeling to this genre.
Yeah. Yep.
So,
That'd
any
be
thoughts
great.
on that film?
Only that my next nomination is just going to be Holiday as a double feature.
Okay.
It feels like a really good opportunity to see both of these actors playing against each other in two different movies, and see if one chemistry is better than the other. Feel out the two different directors to see if it just feels like a really good opportunity to make the judgment on whether a performance can carry a film, or if you can have a director that kind of has a little bit of difference there. So
Okay. Well, let's do this then, because I always like where you kind of see the double features before I see them. So this is good. I kind of like this idea because Letterboxd is telling us that they're both 4.0 movies, right?
Mhm.
So we have Letterboxd's credibility on our side to give us some sense of equity here. I'm not against. I'm okay with, if you are, drafting both of these films, Bringing Up Baby and Holiday, and packaging them together as a double feature. Because what I kind of want to know is the audience just enamored with Cary Grant and Katharine Hepburn at the time, and they're just the flavor of the month, and whatever they're putting out, people are seeing?
Mhm.
That's kind of will make sense with like box office. Letterboxd comes into play a little more because that's a rating over time, right? So
Right.
I feel like it's a safe bet for us to take this. I'm okay drafting it if you are, putting it as our
Yeah.
number 2 and our number 3 on the list.
I'm okay. I'm good.
All right, Bringing Up Baby, which is a Howard Hawks film. That's a repeat director. And then The Holiday. Now, we have a first-time director here, right? We have not seen George Cukor in anything, correct? He has not been a director in anything?
Don't believe so.
Okay. All right, well, the next one I wanted to discuss is an Alfred Hitchcock film called The Lady Vanishes. Now, we have been kind of tiptoeing away from Hitchcock just because we know how much good Hitchcock is coming.
Right.
Where's your research with The Lady Vanishes? Is it a must-see? Is it on that resume? Or is it somebody that we can talk about, put him on the table, and maybe see if he's bumped off because we still know that there's other films coming? Where are you at with this particular Hitchcock film?
Yeah. My note here is check in with Hitchcock to just kind of see, like, because I mean this has got a 3.9. It's I believe he's working with British actors in this film, so it's kind of we get a little bit of foreign flavor there. It's a three. Did I say it's 3.9? Yeah,
Yep.
it's available on HBO, which is a great sell for me because I don't have to rent it. So, and on a train headed for England, a group of travelers is delayed by an avalanche. It's a great premise, man, because you get the train, but you get a blocked location and people locked in together.
Okay.
And it seems like a really good premise for a Hitchcock film. So I think I think yellow is where I'm at with this one.
Okay.
And if we can make it work, then we do, but I don't know if we absolutely need to watch this one.
Because where we're at right now, if we go, let me ask you this. I'm assuming by the order in which you've nominated, or I've nominated it, right? And you haven't even presented it yet. I'm assuming that Angels with Dirty Faces and The Adventures of Robin Hood and Boys Town would all be three films you want to see in front of that film, correct?
Probably.
So that would give us already up to six. And we are still about halfway through this list right now. So
Yeah.
I'm willing to go right ahead and draft the other three that I just mentioned to get us to six, because I feel strong with as strong as you do. Boys Town was the only one. And maybe if we just want to draft 4 and 5 and keep Boys Town hanging, there with Lady Vanishes, I'm fine with those two kind of hanging together if you want. But if you feel strongly about drafting it, we can draft it.
No. I think we can leave those ones yellow for now. You know,
Okay.
kind of in the middle ground and see what happens. And
So
so we're drafting Angels with Dirty Faces, though.
we're drafting both Adventures of Robin Hood and Angels with Dirty Faces.
Okay, good. Because I thought I was gonna have to die on a hill there for Robin Hood, but glad you're conceding.
I didn't have to concede very hard, buddy. I just wanted to flush out to make sure, because
Yeah,
the
yeah,
thing that's got going for it is action adventure, right? It's a different genre. We're not sticking to just straight drama or sticking to straight comedy, whatever. We've got our comedy now with
yep,
Bringing Up Baby and Holiday. We have our human film and You Can't Take It With You, and then you get Angels with Dirty Faces, which is going to be that crime drama. And essentially Boys Town could fill that void and go with it. We'll see what comes up. So, all right.
okay.
All right. That
My
was
turn.
my talk with the Lady Vanishes. So we've got Lady Vanishes and Boys Town sitting in yellow right now. And we've got 5
Okay.
drafted when we only
Okay.
try to get to 8. So, Will, what's your next one?
Well, I'm gonna throw one out there, and I'm not even convinced that we need to watch this, but I just want to make sure we mention it because it's got
Okay.
a lot of big players in it, and
Okay.
it's the movie Test Pilot,
Okay.
directed by Victor Fleming, starring Clark Gable and Myrna Loy, and it's got Spencer Tracy and Lionel Barrymore in it as supporting actors. Um,
Really?
and yeah, and it has 3 nominations: cinematography, Best Picture, and writing. And the tagline is Jim is a test pilot. His wife Ann and his best friend Gunnar try their best to keep him sober. So the only thing that kind of holds me back on this one is it's got a 3.4
Yeah.
on Letterboxd,
Yeah.
which tells me that maybe doesn't age well. But also, I looked really hard to see if this was available somewhere, and I don't even know if we can watch this.
It says where to
Um,
watch. It says Amazon US.
yeah, but that's the DVD. You have to
Oh,
actually
yeah. It
buy
says
the DVD.
disc. You're right.
Yeah, so I think if we draft this one, we're going to be putting ourselves in a tough spot. I'm sure we could figure it out, but um, I don't know. Maybe this one is yellow for now, and we can think about it a little bit more here.
So I got to be honest, I did not come across this film, and I'm not sure how, but one thing that does intrigue me, I'll admit right away, if I had a gun to my head, I would say let's not draft this. Not even because of the rent or where we're gonna have troubles finding it. It's because it is a romance comedy that's sitting at a 3-4, and I think we already are gonna have 2 better versions of romance
Yeah,
comedies this year, and I feel like by comparison, we're going to mark it down already. You know what I mean?
yeah, yep.
If it was the only one that year. Now, the thing that does intrigue me, though, and maybe I will watch this in my own time if I get a chance, is the cast. But I
Hmm.
want to see how Myrna Loy works with Clark Gable versus a William Powell.
Yeah,
You know what I
yep.
mean?
There's a lot of things that kind of are pointing towards we should watch this film, except for the fact that it feels like it could be one of those films that ends up not working, right? Like if you're looking, like feels like it could in this time it might be a straight to DVD. Like something just went wrong, You
Yeah.
know, like
Yeah.
sometimes you see a movie that's got like four good actors in it, and you watch it, and it's like, what happened here?
Yeah.
That's what this movie feels like from this year.
What's a movie that comes to your mind that has that type of cast that just didn't work? I mean, it happens all the
It's
time.
Yeah, so I immediately start trying to flip through my brain of all the crappy action movies that I've watched. There's one with
Expendables.
that's one for sure. Expendables is okay. The rest of them suck.
Yeah, I agree. Expendable 1 has got a place. It's good. Yeah.
Yeah, yep. But yeah, so there's a couple of you wouldn't think this of Gary Oldman, but there's a couple of Gary Oldman action films that just do not work. So,
No, I think Gary Oldman is another one of those guys. He's a Sean Penn. I wanted to talk about this on an episode, but I wasn't sure where to put it in. A lot of it, streaming has just done this now, right? There's
yeah.
a lot of these. Like I've noticed, Orlando Bloom doesn't feel like he's been in anything big for a while, but yet I keep seeing him on these posters for these movies. I'm like, Orlando Bloom's in that? Like he was a big movie star at one time, and it just feels
Yeah.
like those names have just kind of been like deflated a little bit.
Yeah.
Orlando Bloom's in a movie. It's like that doesn't do what it would have done in early 2000s, mid 2000s, right? So.
Right.
I don't know. I think it's kind of hurt those names so much so that I feel like I love the fact that Leonardo DiCaprio. I know he's just making. He did do the Netflix Don't Look Up.
That's a good movie though.
It is a good movie, and and it's okay if Netflix makes movies if they're good movies. They just had The Rip come out. I don't know where people land on that movie. I like the movie. I didn't love the movie. It is hurt from a lot of the things that we talked about on the last podcast, Will, which was digital editing and lack of depth of field,
Yeah.
But we'll talk about that one offline. So let's get back to the draft. Will, I'm with you. Test pilot. We'll put it in the yellow. But I think we have reasons not to draft it because we have stronger evidence of other things. So, okay. I went with a movie called Jezebel. It's directed by William Wyler. It's got Betty Davis, Henry Fonda, and I don't believe we've seen William Wyler yet. And Henry Fonda, I don't believe we've seen on this journey thus far yet. And I know he's one of those big names in Hollywood that kind of resonates forever. The Fonda name is kind of there for a while, whether it's Henry or it's Peter. You know what I mean? So.
Right.
Did this one show up on your list? Jezebel. We do get Best Picture for Betty Davis. She does win for Best Actress in this movie.
Right. Yep. And the other thing that I was kind of looking at here too is this William Wyler goes on and does Ben-Hur, which is a huge film that I'm sure we'll end up watching. Right. So there's some stuff here where I feel like we could add up, and I mean it was number 6 on my list. Bette Davis, I thought did a really good job in Petrified Forest, and it'd be good to see her again, especially for an award-winning performance. So I like this pick. Definitely need to be considering watching it, I think.
The reason it fell this far for me, because I'm always, I like my performances by actors, more than I necessarily pay attention to plot sometimes. But the reason this one fell for me a little bit is because it's a time period piece and an already time period watch. You know what I mean? We're watching 1938 films, and now we're saying, hey, let's watch a film about the 1850s. But to let everybody kind of have a little bit idea of what this movie's about, it says half angel, half siren, all woman. In 1850s Louisiana, the willfulness of a temptress Southern belle threatens to destroy all who care for her. So it does seem like it is kind of, the movie is sitting on a tee for a knockout performance, and it feels like maybe it is worth a watch because we should get it, or if it's just heavy-handed in a lot of, Betty Davis, kind of like when we were Katharine Hepburn. What movie was it, Will, where she was just given great monologue after great monologue? Felt like the movie was built for her.
Yeah,
I forget what
not
movie that
Lady
was.
for a Day.
Oh.
Something along those lines. Morning Glory.
Morning Glory. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Morning Glory. Yep. Good for you. So yeah, I went with Jezebel. Again, It's just going to be a matter of where we're at. So, Will, let's
Yeah.
reset for a second. I think we can get
Sure.
another movie drafted here. We have 5 for sure. You can't take it with you, Frank Capra. Bringing Up Baby, Howard Hawks film, double featured with Holiday, which is a George Cukor film. Both Cary Grant and Katharine Hepburn. Angels with Dirty Faces has been nominated or has been drafted, and Adventures of Robin Hood. I would go out on a limb now and say of the 4 that we have on the docket, Lady Vanishes, Boys Town, Test Pilot, and Jezebel. Of those 4, I think Boys Town feels like the best double feature with Angels with Dirty Faces. My question would be, where would Lady Vanishes? Would you put that with Adventures of Robin Hood? Would you put that with Angels with Dirty Faces? Where would you match that one up at if we went that route?
Man, I
Instead of
really
Boys Town.
don't. Yeah. I don't know. I feel like if we were watching Angels with Dirty Faces, Boys Town is just such a good fit with it. Plus, we get Spencer Tracy in another award-winning performance. You get that priest factor. That always does something for me too. When people are battling with their, we talked about that a couple podcasts ago. So, yeah, I think Boys Town's the right choice here. To go green,
Okay.
go white.
Fight. All right. Boys Town is officially been drafted in the 1938. Little bit of a sneaker pick there by us. Maybe it's a little higher up on the list than maybe not. We'll see. So,
Yeah.
Will, that is by Norman. Oh, who's the director there? I got Norman and I didn't put the last name.
Taurog?
Yes.
Taurog?
Okay. Yes, Norman Taurog. There we go. Taurog. Distributed by MGM. It is a biographical drama. I know how you are with biographical dramas, Will, but you chose it.
Yeah.
I agree with you. Let's move on. 6 deep, 2 to go.
All right.
Do we have movies that have not been nominated that you think are better suited for us than Lady Vanishes, Test Pilot, or Jezebel? Go ahead. List them all.
So,
Give
you
me
want
your
me to just
passion
list them all?
picks.
Okay.
Well, just list first of all, mention something if you just feel like it just needs to be mentioned.
Yeah.
And then give me the ones that you think could go on the slate.
Okay. So I'll mention 2. The first one's The Citadel. I don't know if you came across this. It's a King Vidor film. Has 4 nominations. A doctor struggles to find a cure and a footing. It kind of sounds like this is not a film that aged well. I just wanted to make sure that we mentioned it because it is King Vidor, and I have respect for him, even though the last outing wasn't great.
Yeah.
I think that one's pretty clear cut. We don't need to talk about it any more than that. The next one is a French film by Jean Renoir. We just saw him in Grand Illusion, and it was a very good film. It's called La Bête Humaine, or The Best Human is what I'm assuming. It's got Jean Gabin in it again, who we saw in Grand Illusion, and Simone Simon. It's quite a lot of variation there in her name. But I thought the reason why I wanted to watch this one, other than seeing Jean Renoir again, because I really liked the last one, was I thought this would also go well with The Lady Vanishes.
Okay.
Returning by train to the French port of Le Havre, Jacques Lantier, a tormented railman, meets by chance the impulsive station master and his wife Severine. So get 2 foreign films, British, if you can count that as foreign, I'm not sure. But you get
Not
those.
American,
But you get,
so it would be. Yeah.
you get 2 train films. We've tried that before though, and it didn't go super well. Just wanted to mention it. I don't know if it fits with the overall structure.
Hey, I think we're 1-1 or 1 for 2 when it comes to train films. Shanghai Express, not great. Wild Boys on the Road, pretty good.
Yeah.
Right? So
right. Yep.
We're okay. We're doing okay.
For
Will.
sure. Okay.
Okay. So I will write down that one. What else you got?
Okay. All right. So 2 more. I thought this one would be interesting. It's called Pygmalion. Have you come across this one at all?
I do have it at the back end of my list here. Yep.
Okay. So the reason why I'm kind of intrigued by this one, other than it being on HBO, is it's directed and stars Leslie Howard.
Yeah.
And other than Chaplin, we haven't seen this. And this movie also, I wrote down in my notes, She's All That. It kind of sounds like the movie She's All That, because
Okay.
he tries to get a woman to, he tries to dress her up and get her into high society. And I just thought that it all kind of, I don't know, felt like an interesting experiment to watch. It's got a 3.7 on Letterboxd, so it's probably at least decent. And Leslie Howard was really good in The Petrified Forest, and also in the other Mutiny on the Bounty, right?
Mutiny
He
on the
was in
Bounty.
that.
Yep.
So
He was
yeah,
great in
so
that. Yeah.
yeah, so I mean, this adds up. I feel like this would be a good one to watch. So that's one of them. The last one is Marie Antoinette.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, it's got Norma Shearer. We haven't seen her in forever. I thought it would be kind of fun to come back to her. I think we all know Marie Antoinette was, Queen of France, and some bad shit happens. So the story's not going to be unfamiliar.
A
But
vigilante. Yeah, a vigilante,
yeah. And then the only thing with this one is I don't really feel like it fits into a double feature.
Yeah.
It's 2.5 hours long. So if we're gonna watch this one, I feel like it'd have to be tacked on the back end. So I think it adds a week, or we cut something.
Yeah.
So that's the tough part about this one. So
So, Maria,
that's
you've
it.
got, what was the name of the Jean Renoir film?
Uh, La Bête Humaine, the
Okay,
best human, I
the
believe, is
best,
what
the best
it's supposed to
human.
be.
That's
Yeah.
right, the best human. Okay, so the only crossover one that I had of the ones that you named was Pygmalion.
Yeah. Mhm.
Okay, for all the same reasons. Leslie Howard, I thought, stole Mutiny on the Bounty. I thought he
Mhm.
was the best part of that, and not even just best part of it. Like, it takes, they always say, like, you really have to have an outstanding performance to beat the champion. You know what I mean? To really,
Mhm.
if it's a close fight, you're just going to give the edge to the champion. So anytime the challenger wins, it's because they really showed up. That's how I felt in Mutiny on the Bounty with his performance. I
Yeah.
felt like he was, that good. I wonder if, like, Leslie Howard could be a Gary Oldman who's not
Mm.
necessarily marketed as a Cary Grant, a Clark Gable, a Spencer Tracy, but is considered by his peers to be one of one. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So that intrigues me with him because I like performances. I did not see what Pygmalion was rated though.
It's 3.7 on
Okay,
Letterboxd. Yeah.
so it's up there. It's in the middle
Yeah.
of the road, but a little bit higher up. So not something we would scoff at. So that was the only one that I had as crossover, Will. So with that being said, maybe I feel like we both gravitated that way. So maybe that
Mhm.
one should be more closer to it. I'm not sure that Marie Antoinette, I get the Norma Shear. I love her. I want to come back to her. I'm not sure this is the one that's going to move me to do so. 2.5 hours is a tough watch for any
Mm.
movie. Hopefully it's good, and we're asking for a lot during that time. What was that ranked or rated? Because that one I
Uh,
would rely.
yeah. So that one's a 3.6.
It's not bad. That's not bad.
Yeah.
I was thinking somewhere lower than that. Um, okay. Let me go ahead and give my last nomination,
Hmm.
and then we can move on from it. There was a Vivacious Lady, which was another
Hmm.
romantic comedy but this time it was Ginger Rogers and Jimmy Stewart. Um,
Right.
we already have Jimmy Stewart in Frank Capra's movie, so that one I don't need to see it. Catherine or Ginger Rogers, it would have been interesting to see her and Jimmy Stewart together. I
Hmm.
don't need to see that, so I just wanted to mention it. It was a romantic comedy of this year. It did very well. It was done by George Stevens and RKO Radio Pictures. I always think they put out a pretty good product. We have 2 spots left, Will, and we
Hmm.
have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 movies that are in the running for those two. Here's the movies, just to recap.
Yep.
Alfred Hitchcock's Lady Vanishes. We have Test Pilot, which, why don't we go ahead and cross that one off right now?
I've got it read. I'm good.
Okay. So that gives us now 5 to choose from. We have Lady Vanishes, Jezebel, Pygmalion, Marie Antoinette, and The Best Human. I've made my case against Marie Antoinette. I'd like to cross that one off if you're okay with it. That gives us 4 to choose from. Now, let's do this. We've already double featured Bringing Up Baby in the Holiday. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
We have You Can't Take It With You. No double feature yet. Angels with Dirty Faces. No double feature. Boys Town, which you wanted to double feature that with Angels with Dirty Faces, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So that means right now we have either Adventure of Robin Hood double featured with You Can't Take It With You, which that could make sense. That could that could be a place. Is there anything on this list that's left that you think might better suit a double feature with with the 2 that we've already drafted?
No. I've kind of got this down to, if we're thinking about 2 more, I've got it as Jezebel, Pygmalion, and The Lady Vanishes. I feel like, I don't know.
That's where I'm at too. That's where I'm at too.
The only problem is I feel like if we watch The Lady Vanishes, the best fit for that is actually the, genre noir film. So it's kind of, something's telling me we should watch Jezebel and Pygmalion.
Okay.
And those 2 don't have to be the perfect double feature. That can be our oddball double feature, and see if we can find some themes that flesh each other out. That's my initial thought.
Well, they both have the drama genre, so like we could go that route.
Sure.
Lady Vanishes is billed more as a comedy mystery, I here's where we're at with genres right now. You Can't Take It With You is a dramedy, It's a human film. It's got aspects of everything. Bringing Up Baby and Holiday is your romantic comedy. You're going to get your comedy there. Angels with Dirty Faces and Boys Town, that's going to be more of your crime drama. It's going to be more of that route. Well, maybe not Boys Town, so to speak, but you know what I mean. Moral themes, things of that nature. Which would leave, if we went to Jezebel and I'm on board. I don't think, here's the thing. We're going to have so many Alfred Hitchcock movies that speak to us over the next 20 years. I love that we've already watched 2 of his. We've watched Blackmail. We've watched The Man Who Knew Too Much.
Mm-hmm.
Too Little, Too Much. I think it's that one.
Too much, yep.
We're going to have an incredible run with him. Let's see what William Wyler, new director. And then to just give you this Leslie Howard, Anthony Asquith is also billed as the director on this movie, Pygmalion.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So, do you remember that name? He's the one that did Escape from Dartmoor or A Cottage on Dartmoor in 1929. So we haven't seen him in almost 10 years. So let's see if there's been any, and we didn't love that movie, We
did.
So let's see if there's any growth between Anthony Asquith and then watch his Leslie Howard performance. You on board?
I'm game. Sounds
all
like
right.
a plan.
So Jezebel and finally Pygmalion are our last 2.
All right.
Buddy, we did it. So for those at home, You Can't Take It With You, Bringing Up Baby, Holiday, Angels with Dirty Faces, Adventure of Robin Hood, Boys Town, Jezebel, and Pygmalion. I will put it out on social media where we need to. That way you guys know the double features and in what order we'll be watching these films. But Will, looking back, I'm pretty sure there was no way Adventures of Robin Hood wasn't ever going to be on there, buddy.
Thank goodness. I don't, if we hadn't have drafted, I would have had to gone vigilante on your ass.
Let's see what this little Peter Pan movie is all about. All right. Will, anything else for the draft of 1938 before we move on, man?
No, I think it ended up being a little easier than I thought. I was all concerned, but I think we got to the right movies here. So
Yeah, I think crossover really helps. When I'm thinking a movie, you're thinking it, and it just makes sense. We should probably, not
yeah,
overthink it and go a different route. So,
yeah.
uh, that's it. 1938 draft in the books. Hope you guys enjoy it. Click that follow link button and watch all these movies with us. We love the engagement. So, keep watching movies. We'll see you on down the road.
All right. See ya.